here in New York is Paul Rieckhoff, who's the host of the Independent Americans podcast. And, you know, I don't know if you crossed that meeting off the list, if you had it on the list now that Kim Jong-un's testing missiles. But the president was asked about it. He said something, well, he's always testing missiles, so.
I think the big test is for Trump here. I mean, there's been a lot of focus on Europe. There's been a focus on Venezuela, focus on domestic issues here at home. But China's the big piece on the chessboard.
Right.
And this is a really
focus on that.
And a defining test for Trump. Can he deliver on China? He's talked so tough on China, and folks are feeling some pain now domestically, especially with the shutdown. I think if he can come back with a deal, that's a big win for him. But also a reminder, North Korea's got nukes. North Korea's got missiles. North Korea's got a dictator, and it's still very much a strategic threat, especially for our military. And we're moving assets away from places like Asia and the Middle East and toward places like Venezuela. So I think it's a reminder for all Americans that national security, global security, encompasses the entire globe, and we can't forget about China and North Korea.
Right. It's it all comes together. I think from the Chinese perspective, or the perspective of that deal, you can get a deal. The question is, will it be a better situation for the United States than January of this year when Trump came back for his second term, or do we just get back to where we were? Because then you could argue if that's where we are, was this all worth it? You know, all this back and forth.
Yeah, and I think he's done a good job of creating China as a boogeyman or as an adversary, as someone to deal with. But this is a point, especially as we get into the holidays, where the American public needs relief. They need economic support. They need to feel it in their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
And again, the shutdown's continuing. I talked to folks outside of Fort Bragg today that are saying we've got junior enlisted folks that can't feed their families. They got, you know, they're not getting paid. So I think you got to bring something home. He's got to bring home the bacon from this trip and something economically that the working class can really feel.
Well, that's a good point on the shutdown, because if you think about it, Trump's been away all week, out of the country. He comes back towards the end of the week, and then it's going to be, this weekend is the 1st of November, and it's SNAP benefits. You got air traffic controllers. We had the head of their association on yesterday not getting paid. All of that's going to really hit. I mean, people keep using the phrase, it's going to get real. It already is real, but more real for a lot of those people, even the ones you're talking about this weekend.
It's real for military families right now, and I'm talking to them constantly. I've worked for 20 years in the veteran space, and I think some folks maybe are disconnected from that. I think it's important to note, too, usually the Republicans and Democrats cut a deal on military pay. In the past, Republicans have conceded and Democrats have conceded, and they cut a deal and got the military paid. They haven't done that right now, and I think that's a real problem.
Move money around.
Yeah, move money around, find a way to create an exemption, ensure that our troops, our military folks who are on aircraft carriers, who are doing strikes off Venezuela, that they get paid.
Well, they did do that at first, I'm saying, but now that doesn't continue.
Right. There's no guarantee that they're going to get paid for November 1st, and that indecision is something that does impact morale. It impacts recruiting, and we'll have our enemies in places like North Korea celebrating.
The other thing, Ukraine here, I have it on the tablet. We always look at this map, Russia-Ukraine control, and what's going to happen in that war today. And, you know, whether this area that we talk about, is this the lines that are going to be frozen, all of that. There was, as I mentioned right at the top, this kind of flex of sorts from Vladimir Putin. Here's the quote from Putin. Yesterday, we conducted another test of yet another promising system, the Poseidon underwater unmanned vehicle, also equipped with a nuclear power unit. You watched that show, The Diplomat, on Netflix at all?
I haven't, but I will now at your recommendation.
You should. It's a good show. It's a good show.
Do you have a cameo? They should put you in it.
No, the last thing I was in was that movie Dumb Money, which was that was a little weird. Anyway, it's a good show, but it's this whole thing's at the center of it. It is an animation that we have that Russia put out. This is supposed to be this like secretive weapon and all this kind of thing, and now Putin's coming out and saying, we have this. But it's always a reason. It's like Kim Jong-un. There's always a reason you talk about things at certain times, and here's Putin talking about this.
Yeah, Putin wants to flex and say, hey, remember me? I know you're in China, but don't forget I have nukes, I have missiles, I have capacity. And I think it's also an important test for Trump to not get spooked again, right? Like we're always, some folks in this country are afraid of Russia. What are we going to do if Russia does this? What are we going to do if Russia does that? We should flip the tables. Russia should be scared of us. They should be worried about our military.
How?
Tomahawks would be a great example, right? Send Tomahawks to Ukraine.
What'd you make when Trump was like, they take like 6 months for them to learn how to use them? That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, the Ukrainians can understand and appreciate how to use weaponry quicker than anybody in the world right now. So they're innovating on the battlefield.
So they'd be able to do it a lot faster.
I think so. And also, it's important for us to test our weapon systems. Let's give them Tomahawks. Let's see how they do in action. Let's use that to refine our weapon systems. And keep in mind, we're continuing to allow them to take out parts of Russia's military. I always say that if you told Ronald Reagan, hey, we could take out 20% of the Russian military and never lose an American American soldier. He'd take that in a second. I think Trump should too.
You know, our focus now, in large part, it seems like, has been in the Caribbean, though. This Latin American, I have the map here of U.S. military assets in the Caribbean. Of course, some of this, you know, the storm down there too, but there's a lot of U.S. assets in that area. So with all these strikes in and around Venezuela taking place, an interesting conversation on the show here earlier the week with General Charles Wald, retired general, former deputy commander, U.S. European Command, about these orders and what you do with the orders, if you remember the military as you were. Here's what he said, then you can react.
In the military, we took an oath to the Constitution in the United States, and if there was an order we didn't think was either lawful or moral, then we could decide to step aside. I do firmly believe that in the tradition of our military and the Constitution and in our country, what we stand for, that if we were going to put a land force in there and invade a country, we need to have deliberations.
All right, so that was on the question. It's been brought up by the president at times, Lindsey Graham at times, about whether this is going to go even further than it's already gone.
I think he's right. There should be a consultation. There should be an approval from Congress. I think Rand Paul has been on this out in front. I think he's right.
Yeah.
You know, because we haven't declared war since World War II doesn't mean we shouldn't. And if we're going to put land forces in Venezuela, as Trump has talked about, we're going to continue to do strikes. You have to have consultation with Congress. But there's a bigger issue here. I continue to say that the #1 story in the world is that Trump can do anything he wants with the greatest military the world has ever seen. And nothing is stopping him from doing that. Now, the opportunity for him right now is, instead of pissing off people in the Caribbean and around the world by blowing up drug boats, he can pivot those resources and help people in the Caribbean. He can help people in Cuba. He can help people in Jamaica. Right now, those forces are not far away, and that would be a great chance for us to use our military and our soft power to win hearts and minds.
Yeah, that storm, man, that is a tough one. Talk about that coming up. Before you leave, you want to weigh in? Here's the race. We have it. Mamdani, Cuomo, and Sliwa in the DDHQ average of the polls. Cuomo's still got a shot. We have less than a week.
I think there's a shot, and I think there's a really important element here. There's closeted Cuomo supporters, people who won't say publicly that they support Cuomo, either because they're not Democrats or they're concerned about the sexual harassment allegations. I see this among people I know. They're going to vote for Cuomo. They may not want to put it on their Facebook page, but they're going to come out and ultimately vote for Cuomo. And I don't know how many Republicans will actually vote for Sliwa. And there are 1 million independents in New York. It's going to depend on the weather. It's going to depend on turnout.
So it's going to be closer than people think, is your point.
I think it may be closer than people think, but Mamdani's been able to game the system with his turnout. He's got a very dedicated base. That's the Trump model. Right. Turn out your base. The question is, will moderates, independents, Republicans also turn out in response to what they perceive as a threat that is Mamdani? Speaking of independents, Paul's podcast is The Independent Americans. Thanks for all the time. You're 5 days a week now at the podcast, I heard? We're daily now, man. Trying to follow your lead. There's a lot to cover, and we want to bring it every day. All right, it's wherever you get your podcasts.